Hello friends, welcome to SHIA's Intermediate to Advanced tutorial. Now we are going to look at casting between the interfaces. We will see the usage of is versus as keyword and how they help us to convert between the interface. So if you see here the merged phone that has iVivo and iHTC interfaces. So it exposes those two interfaces. Now at runtime we can cast between iVivo and iHTC as well as iHTC to iVivo interfaces. So now let's say that we have iVivo and iHTC interface implemented class merged phone. So what usually happens, we will create the instance of this merged phone. So now let us consider these two statements. First we are creating the merged phone and then we hold the reference for that merged phone. So the reference type is merged phone. And the next line we assign that reference to HTC reference and the type is HTC. That means the HTC reference now can reach you to this functionality. But if you see, it actually points the merged phone, and merged phone is also a iVivo, right? So now you can actually perform this kind of type checking. Let's say we have HTC reference in hand and the type is iHTC. So we can place a if statement like this: if iVivo. So this will return true. Why? Because HTC is actually the reference. This is the reference. So this reference is actually pointing to the merged phone. You see here. Here we are not using iHTC. Here we are using the reference. So we already handed over our P1. That means the merged phone. So this is the heap location. In heap location we have the instance of the merged phone, and that merged phone is now pointed by a HTC reference. So the HTC reference type is iHTC. So through iHTC we can only access the HTC functionality, but at the same time through HTC we can reach to the actual object. So that is how this if condition will work. So HTC is iVivo. That means when the C# runtime reads this HTC is, it actually goes to the actual object. So the actual object is the merged phone. Then it checks is this merged phone is instance is also a iVivo. So we will get yes, it's also an iVivo interface exposed object. So that's how this will return true. So once it returns true, it is safe to typecast like this. We can typecast it as iVivo, some reference name, let's say vivo, equal to, you can typecast it as iVivo. What we have in hand is HTC, so we can place that HTC here. And if you see here, the HTC type is iHTC interface, and we are typecasting iHTC reference into iVivo, and we are holding that typecasted reference into Vivo, and its type is iVivo. But before that, we are making sure whether this returns true. So instead of iVivo, if I put some other name, say for example an unimplemented interface, ABC. So it's not, HTC is not IABC, because the object doesn't implement IABC interface, so this will return false. So this way, at runtime you can avoid dangerous typecasting. Okay, so now we looked at the usage of is keyword. Now let's go to the as keyword. So here is keyword is used to check the particular type. You can use as keyword when you are declaring the interface. The time itself you can perform a casting. Say for example, let's consider this statement. Let's say these statements already exist, 1, 2, and this one is 3. So after these two statements, let's consider this statement exists 3. If you see HTC already available, we can use HTC as here we performed the typecasting explicitly, but the usage of keyword is to check whether the actual heap object, that is the merged phone instance, this merged phone instance support IVO interface. So that's how we used this is keyword. So I have HTC reference, IHTC reference. Using that I'm checking the object pointed by this IHTC is also a supported IVO object. That means is that object implements IVO interface also. So that's what we are checking. So if here it returned true because it supports IVO. Here if you look at, we are forcing to convert the object. The HTC already exists, which points to a heap object merged phone, and we are asking use this HTC interface as a IVO interface. So it will perform the typecasting and holds the reference here. So here in this case it will be successful because we know HTC is pointing to merged phone, and that also implements the IVO interface. So this conversion go well, and this will hold the heap reference. Let's say the merged phone is at 0x1dd. So the conversion becomes a success. That means we converted it. But let's say we use IHTC as IABC, then we are pointing it with the IVO. This time this will fail. Why? Because our merged phone is not implementing IABC. So what we will have null here. So when you use as keyword, you have to always check this interface is null or not. So if it is not null, then you can start accessing the functionality using the dot notation. Now we will go to the demo part. So this is from our previous demo. Now we will comment this. Here we tested how to use the multiple interface supported object. Now we will explore the is and as keywords. For the code snippet, you can refer the description of the video, and we provided a Google Drive location. From there you can view these code snippets. Okay, now we will check. So first we created the merged phone. Then we are handing over the reference to this merged phone to IHTC interface HTC1. So now we can check this HTC1. Know that the reference type of this HTC1 is IHTC, and that is pointing to the actual object of a merged phone. So actually here we are checking is this merged phone, even though it's HTC, we are checking is it IVO. So now we know that the merged phone implements IVO, so this will return true. After that, if you see here, we are performing the typecasting explicitly. So this explicit typecast will be safe, as we already checked that HTC interface supported heap object is also supporting IVO, so that we checked here. That's the meaning of this one. So since it returned true, this typecast becomes safe. So after this typecast, we are using this reference Vivo functionality, and we are accessing the Vivo functionality. So we know what are all the Vivo functionality. It will send the short message. Also, it can make a basic voice call. Right. So now you are aware of this is keyword. Now we will go to the as keyword. Now with the as keyword, we can cast and assign the interface type. If you see here, we create one more merged phone instance. We can even make use of the existing one. Anyhow, here we created one more instance, merged 2, and the instance type is merged phone. As we did previously, we handed over that to IHTC interface. Then instead of using the is keyword, if you see here, we are using the as keyword. So what we are stating here, HTC2 as IVO. So what we are doing here, I know that is HTC2 is a IHTC interface. Use this IHTC as IVO interface. So this will perform the typecasting for us. It will cast the IHTC to IVO, and we store that in the IVO. The reference type is Vivo, another example. I mean, the reference name is Vivo, another example. Type is IVO. So since this casting is perfect, why? Because the merged phone supports both IHTC as well as IVO, so the typecasting goes successful here. So this will hold the reference now, and if this kind of casting goes false, then we will get null here. So that's why we are checking null. So if it is not null, that means this statement is a success. So if it is null, we are not able to convert. So let me go to class view once again, and if you see here, let's say HTC2 as instead of IVO, if I use IVO new, we know that our merged phone class doesn't implement this IVO new. So it implements the basic functionality of IVO as well as IHTC. So instead of IVO, if I use IVO new, sorry, not here. Here, if I use, instead of IVO, if I use IVO new, this reference will hold null. So that way we need to check. So as will forcibly convert, is will perform a type checking. So this will perform type checking. When you use as keyword, it brutally converts the one interface type to another interface. Then it's up to you to check whether that conversion is success or not by making use of the is null check. Alright, after this is null check, we are just using the Vivo, another example. That means here we converted the HTC interface to Vivo interface. So we are making a call to send short message. So that will become a success. Alright, so since this is advanced tutorial, we no need the output, but I'm still running it, and okay, so I kept it in the else portion. Instead, we will keep it here. So that's the output. You can see both time we are calling the send SMS. So because we are converting to HTC to IVO, here we used the is keyword and we perform the casting using the explicit cast, and here we used the casting using the as keyword. So is is to perform the type check, as is to convert the it's to perform the casting, just like this statement. Alright, that's all here in this video. This concludes the interface sub-series on this C# advanced to intermediate tutorial series. In the next video, we will take a new topic and we will learn it. That's all. We are done with the interface tutorial sub-series. Thank you for watching and bye.